HB family, what's happening? My name is Bobby O'Neill. I'm the pitching guy here with Headbangers Sports, and I'm also the pitching coach for Azusa Pacific University. In today's episode, we're going to be capitalizing on this rain delay that canceled my baseball game, and we're going to be going over a little how to be more mentally focused one pitch at a time. So recently for my college pitchers, we've been going over this topic of what the pre-pitch cycle should look like in our brains in order to optimize what it is that we're trying to accomplish. We've pulled this cycle from the book Mental ABCs of Pitching, which is a great book. You guys should definitely read it. But in this cycle, there are 3 different words that we're going to be highlighting in this video: approach, result, response. So when it comes to developing an approach, it's important to notate all the times you've done well and have had success, whether that's on the micro level where we're talking about individual pitches, or on the macro level where you've had a great game or a great season or a great career. And it's important to start recognizing all the things and all the characteristics that you've done in order to contribute to those successes, whether it's the running program you did the days before, the throwing program you did the days before, how much sleep you got, what type of breakfast you had, whether you were carb loading or starving yourself, and also what your mantra is, or the thing that you tell yourself before every pitch, whether it's a, hey, you got this, throw through the target, or a, hey, figure it out, stop being soft. Like, however you speak to yourself is also integrated into your approach. It's also important to note that when you're developing an approach, it's important and imperative to only put things in your approach that you can physically and mentally and emotionally control. We don't want to be adding factors to your approach that are outside of your control, like I only pitch well in the evening, or I only pitch well when it's 72 degrees outside. We're not God, we can't control those things, but we can control whether or not we eat pancakes in the morning. The second topic of the cycle are the results. Now, regardless of how much you think you can control the results, you are absolutely 100% wrong. I've seen it time and time again in my own career where I'll paint a pitch perfectly on the black. It's the nastiest pitch I've ever thrown, and then someone who is just a little bit better than me that day slaps a ball into left field for a double. I've also seen that exact same pitch get called a ball by the umpire. I've seen a catcher clank that pitch and had to watch the ball fly to the backstop, and I've seen a batter freeze up on that pitch for strike 3 looking. When it comes to handling both the positive and the negative of results, it's important to have a task-oriented or goal-oriented mindset with this, and that comes down to executing pitches. So when it comes to handling both the positives and the negatives of a result, it's important to notate that we have to have a task at hand mindset where we are trying to execute pitches one pitch at a time. When your brain gets wrapped up in the past or it gets too fixated on the future, you forget to stay focused on the moment, which is one of the #1 reasons why pitchers get emotional when they're on the mound. Listen guys, the game is too difficult on its own. We don't need those intrusive thoughts in our brain tampering with the approach that we're trying to develop for the next pitch. And that's what brings me to my third topic, which is our response. Having an effective response is one of the most important aspects of a pitcher's mental makeup. When I have a pitcher who tends to ride the emotional roller coaster, I've noticed that it is almost impossible for him to turn the page once adversity starts to go his way. Now, don't get me wrong, I love watching competitors compete. It's probably one of my favorite things. But when I'm watching that guy throw 0-2 fastball down the black and he's celebrating, he's bumping his chest, and then he's getting back up on the mound still thinking about that previous at bat, the chances are he is deterring his brain away from the approach that got him that strikeout to begin with, which means he's most likely going to set himself up for a negative result the following pitch. So if you are one of those guys who tends to ride the emotional roller coaster and get super animated when you're doing well, it's just very important that you are able to flip the switch prior to stepping back on the rubber for the next pitch. And for you guys who pout and mope when you get ball 4, it's super imperative that we do not take that walk into the next at bat either. So in summary, there are 3 attributes that make up this cycle. You have your approach, you have the result, and you have your response. 2 of those 3 are things that we can control, and 1 of them are not. If we allow ourselves to follow the cycle of having a positive approach with a negative result, which then fuels a negative response, what you're going to notice is that negative response will most likely lead to a negative approach for the next pitch, which will then most likely result in a negative result. By breaking the chain of that cycle, you're going to be able to avoid that snowball effect that leads to a big inning, and you're going to be able to make yourself and force yourself to keep it to 1 pitch at a time, which is ultimately how you are going to be able to help your team contribute to wins more frequently. Hope that helps, guys. I know I wish I had that when I was playing, because I definitely fell into that snowball effect way too frequently in my career. If you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment below. You can always follow me at Bobby O'Neill 37. Make sure to follow this YouTube channel. And like always, guys, I hope this helped you out. Take care. God bless.